But what we're going to begin with, there's an article in one of the papers on the back of Jamie Carragher has come out and said that Jamie Vardy, I'm going to quote here, Leicester's Jamie Vardy, the £1 million signing from non-league Fleetwood in 2012, is the best transfer in football history. Not Premier League history, football history. Now, we're going to close the net a bit.
Yeah, because that
and say Premier League history. 1 million... Now, listen, Jamie Vardy, we know, is a phenomenal player. He's been a great buy, right? But where do you rank Jamie Vardy in terms of the best buys in the Premier League? Because it's not just value for money. It's not just longevity at the club. It's also what they bring with them.
What they did, exactly, yeah.
What they did, in Jamie's case, of course, scoring goals. But a great defender, can't ever do that. So what are you judging? Because I've got a couple of mine. I know you've got a couple of yours. We're going to put it out there to you, more importantly. Go on.
Listen, I think he's up there. For what he's done for Leicester Football Club, I mean, he is their best player in their history. I mean, you said about Lineker, but I think Vardy's done more for Leicester while he's been there than maybe Lineker did.
Well, I said Lineker was in the best Leicester player. That's what you mean, yeah? Yeah.
So, listen, for me, he'd been certainly in the discussion, top 5. He wouldn't be my number 1. But when you think about what he's done, and the people will talk about, but he had Kante and Mahrez. But you've got to remember, when they bought Kante and Mahrez, you're looking at the Kante and Mahrez of today. One's at Chelsea, World Cup winner. One's at Manchester City, who's been phenomenal. Yeah. But when they bought them, they weren't that type of player.
But wasn't that the same with Vardy? When they bought him, he wasn't the Jamie Vardy we know and love now.
He stayed there, and Leicester still maintained whereabouts they are. They know they won the league, but look where they are this season. Yeah. Last season they were up there, and they kind of fell off a little bit towards the end. But they've always been there or thereabouts, up the top of the table. So I think in that regard, I mean, he's an all-time Premier League top goal scorer as well. I think he's certainly up there. He wouldn't be my personal.
Who would yours be? Greatest Premier League.
You know who mine would be.
Thierry Henry.
Correct.
How much was he? 11.
He was. It says he was 14.5 million, right? But he signed 1999. But for me, he came to Arsenal and became the best player to ever play in this country. So how can I not put him as number 1?
Okay.
So if you take the price tag out of it, because if it was today...
Yeah, but I think you've got to include the price tag, because otherwise, if you say something like Virgil van Dijk, Liverpool fans might say that Virgil van Dijk is the greatest signing in Premier League history because of...
what he's done for the club.
They waited 30 years for a trophy. I mean, I know Alisson... for Premier League. I know Alisson came in as well, but you could argue that it's more Van Dijk than Alisson. Yeah. A big argument to have, but irrelevant of that. Liverpool fans could say that that's their greatest ever signing because of the fact that, but it's £85 million or 75, whatever they paid for him. So I don't know if you can count. I don't feel comfortable counting £75 million worth of.
Because even if you look at some of the others, Frank Lampard from West Ham to Chelsea for 14.4, but look what he's done. He's gone on to be their all-time record goal scorer, Champions Leagues, Premier League titles. Yeah, you can even put Drogba in that sentence, and they bought him for, what was it, 30 million?
See, again, I feel a bit uncomfortable saying the greatest signing is £30 million.
But look what he has transformed like a Lampard at 14 million. He's transformed their whole history.
Has he?
Premier League titles and Champions League.
Would they not have done that without Lampard? See, that's another thing you've got to...
Yeah, it's tough. No, he's their all-time record goal scorer.
I know. Listen, I know he brought a hell of a lot to the table, but, without Lampard, they still had an unbelievable team. They would have still had Drogba, they would have still had Terry, they would have still had...
He was there before all of them.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, would Chelsea have been the Chelsea that we know of today without Frank Lampard? Is my question. I don't know the answer to it.
I don't think they would be, no.
Okay.
I don't think they would. But there's loads. I mean, Alan Shearer, you could even add the Newcastle one, because at the time was that a world record fee? But even when he went from Southampton to Blackburn, what he did for Blackburn Rovers.
Yeah, but again, that was a British transfer fee, wasn't it?
Yeah, but won them the Premier League.
Yes. Yeah, he did.
For me, either for me, Thierry Henry's the best.
I know I'm going to be biased, obviously. But I've got two, right? I've got two. So when United signed Schmeichel from Bromby for, I think it was £500,000 in 1991, right?
Yeah.
He went on to be the greatest goalkeeper on the planet for half of Jamie Vardy's £1 million fee.
Yeah, but he was in a very good team.
I know, but you're talking about Jamie Vardy being a great striker. I'm talking about someone coming in for half that amount of money and being the best player in his position. Yeah, you could argue ever.
Yeah, but listen to me, right? But I think you could have put any goalkeeper in that United team, you could have.
But look what happened. Look at the problems when he went. I think we used 11 goalkeepers or 13 goalkeepers.
Yeah, but you still maintain winning trophies, is my point. You take Vardy out of that Leicester team, they don't win anything.
Okay, what about the one that stands out for me? The one I would go for is Eric Cantona. £1 million from Leeds. We hadn't won the league title since '67. He came in '92. We won the league.
See, I think
the following year we won the double. The following year he was banned for the kung fu kick. We won nothing. Following year he won the double when he came back.
But that's more of an argument than Schmeichel.
Okay, well,
clearly he changed the whole, bit like Bruno now. Changed the whole dynamics of the United team.
Okay, so I'm going to go for Eric Cantona.
I'm going to go for Thierry Henry.
Okay, so with two questions, right, gang? So who's the greatest ever Premier League signing? And also, at your club, who do you think the greatest signing in Premier League in the Premier League era is for your club? So it might not be the answer to the greatest ever Premier League signing, but it might be the greatest for your club.
I'll tell you quickly though.
Go on.
Sol Campbell to Arsenal on a free.
He's horrible, isn't he? Absolutely vile you are. You win a lot of fans like that.